Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I am bringing you a 4vs4 31k, and yes, you can see it, I'm using Germania, which means this is going to be a pretty aggressive battle. My teammates are all Scipii Romans. I'm teamed up with Wolves Parker and Phlegethon of the COH clan and Mohamed of the Heaven clan. We're facing the Brutii fellow out here, the Goblin. I've never fought him before, so I'm not sure who he was. I think he might have been a new 31k guy. Then we have Odin. He was SOH. I'm not really sure what clan he's in now. He seems to move around the clans, or kind of. He plays in a lot of CW. I mean 31k rather. Anyway. So here's his army here. And then we have Pompey of the Brotherhood clan. This guy's a good player. You'll find him in a lot of like Spartan Commanders videos and Biscuits videos, got a few in him. Very good 31k player. And then we have Conan of the Brotherhood clan, another very good, excellent player. And he'll probably leading this team, no doubt. Anyway, he's playing as the Senate. Anyway, let's have a look at the armies while we're going over here. Obviously I'm Germania, so I'm all about shock and awe, kind of, you know what I mean? So I have a peasant, which was to soak up arrow fire or absorb charges or anything like that. Then I have 6 gold Gothic Cav and 2 chosen archers, which I think had gold attack. Then I had 3 berserkers on gold, and I think like gold at least 2 experience, something like that. A Screeching Woman, just to help with the scare effects, and I believe I had 7 maxed out chosen axemen, which is going to be really deadly. So it's my army. Now, as you can see, I'm moving way through the back. This is just because when one person on the enemy team brings Germania, usually the team will bring a good horde of arrows or archer units to, rip them up, so it's always wise to deploy far back like I did, so you can move into position and not get thrashed by arrow fire. Anyway, my allies, let's have a look at Wolves Parker. He's got 6 units of Praetorian Cav, and he's got Legionary First and 13 Urbans. So that's his army. Then, he's got 2 Archer Auxilia as well. Then Phleg's got 2 Archer Auxilia. I'd say he's probably got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 6 Praetorian Cavalry, and then he's got 12 Urban Cohorts. I think I've done that right. And then we got Mohammed. He's got 6 Praetorian Cavalry and 13 Urbans and 1 Legionary First Cohort. That's about right. Then we have the enemy team. We have the Goblin. He's got, I can see, I'd say 1, 2, 3, I think he's got 6 Praetorian Cav and 14 Urban Cohorts. Then we have Odin. He's got Legionary First. Well, how many Cavs he got actually first? 6 Praetorians, then Legionary First and 13 Urbans. Then Pompey, he's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hold on, how many Cavs? Always best to count the Cav, and you can go from there. I see 5 Praetorian Cav and 2 archers, so then it's 13 Urban Cohorts, the rest for his infantry. And then Conan, he set up a really cool formation here. I believe this is geared to absorb the damage from Germania. That would work well against Germania, because it's almost like it's an elastically kind of circular defense. It would probably soak up the charge of Germania quite well. I think it's what he was going for there. He always goes with quite big infantry armies, so I think he's got 2 Praetorians and 18 Urban Cohorts. So anyway, as you can see, I'm way in the back, probably a little too far back at this stage, but I'm steadily moving up, because I'm only walking my guys now because I don't want to have them too tired after their big run to get into position. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to push very hard and aggressively on the Goblin side, because we figure he's probably the newest player in their team, and therefore probably the easiest player to exploit with a German shock army rush attack, basically supported by allies, of course. So that's why he's, with him out there on the right, this is the flank that we're going to try and overwhelm. Phlegethon made an interesting point. He said they should have put Goblin in the centre. probably just because he's the least experienced player. By putting him in the centre, he's kind of covered by more experienced opponents. I mean, allies rather, which is always sound thinking. You know, to put the least experienced player in a safe spot until they can get a bit of experience before they go on the flanks. Because usually the flanks is where a lot of action happens. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to shift my chosen archers out onto the left flank here, and I'm going to start putting fire arrows down onto either Odin or Goblin, because these two are going to be where we're going to try and cause a massive break. Fire arrows are going to be there to reduce morale, so less morale to try and get the route to happen faster. Because with Germania you have to get a chain route going, and you have to constantly maintain it. If you don't maintain it, Germania dies out. This applies to both CWB and 31k. So we have to be very careful we get that going. So at the moment I'm actually just taking pop shots at the flank of some of these guys here. I move it around a little bit more. Now I think probably Conan or Pompey came up with this particular little piece of information. What am I? Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Conan or Pompey no doubt told Goblin to get inside, move inside, because they probably realised what we were doing. That's what I meant to say. I don't know why I said it the way I said it just then, but that's what they're probably going to do. So you see, Peeler Jules is going to start up in the centre like usual, and Pompey's just going to rush forward quickly and engage Wolves Parker, or get right up in his face basically. This is so he's probably going to be able to throw his Peeler straight over the backs and into the tight formation here, so very well done there. And here we see they're basically just holding steady here. We didn't want. I think Conan's build was designed to soak up Germania, but we weren't going for Conan because Conan's an experienced player, so he probably knows how to handle it. Go for an easier target basically to ensure our chances of success are higher. So the Peeler duel has gone well for Pompey because he's moved up like this and he's done quite a bit of damage to these guys here. As you see, some of them are down to the 50s, 3 of them down to the 50s, so that was a pretty nice move there just to get the advantage in that Peeler duel. Over here, it's now that we've decided that we're going to start pushing. Goblin is going to start like withdrawing here, and we're just going to start pushing even further because Mohammed's coming right around at the stage. Still skirmishing going on through the centre. Some really nice Peeler strikes coming in on Wolves Parker by Pompey. But mostly just skirmishing, but we're just ordering it so that we're going to strike because Phleg was coordinating us in this battle, and he was basically saying now was the time. And he was right, because if we mucked around too much longer, Wolves Park would have been pushed under way too much pressure, and we would have lost too much before we would have got our route going, or our big German horde, German Roman strike going basically. So I'm just flaming units here. I'm not trying to get kills really, I'm just trying to reduce morale, just so that it helps to help maintain a chain route, or lower their morale so it happens quicker, so that we can keep it going basically, because you've got to try and maintain the route, and if you run out of momentum and you haven't done enough damage by that point, then you're in a lot of trouble. So over here we've got some pretty nice moves by Conan. He comes flying straight in right into the very flank of Parker's forces here, and he's going to start ripping into him with a lot of Peeler with his cool formation there. And Parker's going to be sacrificed basically of the team, but he's just going to hold the Pompey and Conan out. Phleg is going to support him, and they're going to try and hold this area out while myself and Mohammed and some of Phleg's Cav destroy Odin at this stage, because the Goblin has retreated. He's still under fire arrow, but Cav strikes coming in from Conan, and Pompey will send his in as well, and that's doing a lot of damage to Wolves Parker, but he's holding. Phleg's going to do what he can to support him, but at this stage we have to begin, or there's going to be too many losses over there. So I start pouring fire arrows in over here in the centre of the enemy formation, Odin's formation. Now we get glitches here. We get one of those 4v4 31k glitches going on. My Cav here, they came way too close and everything gets kind of jumbled, so I want to regroup them. As you can see, Mohammed and Phleg are getting it done to them, so it's really dangerous, but we have to go in now, otherwise the risks are too high. Odin sends his Cav in here to try and help break through here, because we've managed to hold out, but Mohammed pours in and I'm pouring my Germans in here, and we're going to push in really hard. I'm bringing my cav. I'm just bringing in my guys as a big clumpy board. It's generally the easiest way to do this, and Mohamed's just going to push in with me. So we get one route going here so far, and then I see my cav in, chain route, the berserkers start berserking, and we get 2 going, 3, let's see, 4, 5, I think we've got 5 going now, and then Phleg is going to come in with his cav, and I think that's Phleg, or is that Mohamed? It's Phleg, yeah. He's going to come in, and as you can see, all this cav and the Germans and the berserkers, everything, will completely chain route all of Odin's army at this stage. As you can see, it's just an absolute mash-up of Germans and Scipii just trashing everything. But we destroy Odin then. At this stage, Bull's Parker has been destroyed, and a good portion of Phleg's infantry is severely getting thrashed by Conan and Pompey. But we have totally destroyed Odin. Now Goblins pulling in. Now you'd think the advantage was to them, but the route is started, and we're trying to maintain it. Now we did temporarily chase a few of Odin's forces because they'd likely regroup, so we need to make sure we got a good number of them. We got most of his infantry, so if they do regroup, there'll be very little of them left. But at this stage we've got to keep going. As you can see, Pompey, Goblin and Conan are still over there in pretty good numbers. Phleg has still got a few infantry, but Mohamed and myself are pretty much full on infantry. But because we've started the attack with the Germans, we have to keep going. That's how it works. If you stop, you can't stop, you have to go. But it's important that the berserkers go in first to cause as much fear. Now the berserkers started to go for Conan. I was originally gunning for Goblin because I thought he'd be easier target, but Conan's become slightly isolated, and wherever the berserkers goes we want to go, because other ones cause the biggest fear factor. So that's what we're doing here. So we're all going to pour in on Conan now, and he's depleted from his fight before, and I come straight in on his flank, and the Phlegethon's going to come straight through the centre, and even his stalwart formation is not going to hold. Mohamed's going to bring his cav in here, and as you can see we start chain routing Conan's army as well. Put fire arrows in just to help that lower the morale, keep everything going quickly. And at this stage it's just a few of these units in the front of Pompey's and these ones in the back over Goblins. But as you can see, they all just chain route immediately. And basically we've got to keep on going. Each time though, like, we've destroyed 2 armies now, but my Germans are getting really tired, exhausted and thinned out by this stage, so they're going to be less effective. But as long as you've got enough berserkers, we've still got plenty of berserkers in good numbers. That's important. If you lose the berserkers, the fear factor effect basically runs out, because berserkers are really powerful obviously as well. This is where I really think they made the mistake of not having enough archers. Had they had more archers, they could have been popping shots into the berserkers all the time and thinning them out, but they didn't have them. So the way we're going to do this final stage is Goblins had no time to organise himself into a traditional formation, so we're just going to form up like Mohamed's going to form up usual, but he's going to attack fairly quickly. He'll get a few peeler off, because he's not really had time to throw peeler, I don't think, because we're so busy pushing. But at this stage, just got to keep charging in, and I can't start the berserkers at this stage, so we just got to keep going. And he's just going to keep pouring in. Phleg's going to keep pouring in. Pompey fell back, try and regroup, and he does a pretty nice job with his cav to recover this to quite an extent. But we're going to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing at this stage, because again the berserkers are constant, and you have to stay with them. So I pour my axemen on the side, and myself and Phleg are going to charge our cav in here. I believe we probably should have waited out, because Pompey's going to get a really good counter cav strike here when he comes in now. But our cav strike does a pretty significant amount of damage to the Goblins forces, but he does a nice charge into the flank of my chosen axemen and into some of these Scipii units. And that's going to be pretty nasty. But over here, as you can see, Mohamed's winning on this section. He's bringing his cav in behind, and with the berserkers there, the rout effect's pretty predominant, and we start routing quite a lot of them. My chosen axemen under a lot of pressure here, although they're still holding out. I'm trying not to lose my general, although at the same time it's very hard to do that with Germania, because you've got to try and keep everything going. But Phleg's still got his cav, I've still got my cav, and we're just going to keep charging in. As you can see, we've got cavalry advantage with only Pompey having cav. There's 3 of us with much more cavalry. So here he's going to come in for a counter charge. It's going to do a bit of damage, but Mohamed's going to immediately have a flank counter charge, and he's going to pull the rest of his infantry in. So that charge finally routs my chosen axemen. Basically they just got too tired, they're exhausted at this stage, and the momentum of the rout was lost at this point, but it doesn't matter because the amount of damage we inflicted was enough that our remaining Roman units can destroy the rest of them, and there's still berserkers left anyway. And at this stage Pompey's on his own, and he holds out pretty well, but he can't fight this much on his own, and basically the berserkers still there, they're going to keep pushing, and it should be enough. And at this stage his general routs, basically he's going to be slice charged by Mohamed here into the flank of this large group of infantry, and that's basically going to rout the remainder of Pompey's forces. So this is a pretty good example of how you want to use Germania. You just want to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but you have to have teammates who are working with you. It's never going to work. Fortunately I had good teammates and I was able to do that. But you steadily lose momentum the longer and longer it goes. So you've got to try and do things quite quickly. If you muck around too long with Germania, or you don't get decisive effects, you'll just get a massive chain rout of the German forces. But in this case, I had great support and great cav charges from my allies, and even though Conan and Pompey had done a pretty aggressive number on Parker, he managed to buy us time and hold out, and that enabled Phleg, myself and Mohamed to basically get some serious mass routs going. As you can see, Odin and the Goblin got severely wasted, not very many kills, but good kills there from Conan and Pompey. They fought well, their tactics as well as a team, but their allies just weren't quite as strong. On our side I got 1,250 kills. I'm pretty pleased with that. Germania is an awesome fun faction to use, but it's pretty predictable really how you got to use it. You got to sort of deploy back like I did at the start, and you got to kind of push in at the right time. But I had great support by Mohamed, who takes away top kills at 1670, and Phleg at 1322. And even though he hasn't got many kills, don't underestimate Parker's role. He held out the two best players for quite a while, which enabled us to focus on Odin by himself and knock him out quickly. And then once we knocked him out quickly, we were able to get in there and catch Conan slightly out of position there and take him out before he could pull him up properly, which enabled us to continue the momentum. So I think, it's good fun using Germania, but you have to have allies to keep the momentum. If you don't have that, it's pretty difficult. Now, it can always be quite good way to counter Germania would be obviously lots of archers and pike factions, because pikes are great at killing Germania, and usually you can just mingle the pikes all over the battlefield, and it makes it much more difficult for the German player to move around, because they've got to try and find a position where they're not going into the pikes, and the longer they muck around, the more damage they take from enemy archer fire, and the harder it becomes to get that rout going. But in this case I felt they had nowhere near enough archers, to be honest. They should have more archers, and they should have been targeting the berserkers, but they just didn't, and I was able to keep that rout going with the support of my allies. So great game to Mohamed, Phleg, Parker, Conan, Pompey, Odin and the Goblin. Thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed it. Actually I haven't showed you the kills, have I? Let's just have a look. The berserkers all pretty high kills, chosen axemen fairly decent, although they got pretty wasted at the same time, fairly even. It was mostly about keeping that rout going. The archers, they kept low morale, very handy, good 67 there, that's not too shabby. The Cav actually did very well. Gothic Cav's not too bad, I mean it's no comparison to Praetorian Cav or anything like that, but in support of these other units and support of Roman units, it's very capable, so they got most of the kills, to be honest. So not too bad there. My Screeching Woman, I forgot about that. I always forget about the Screeching Woman. That's just to help that fear factor go. You can also, I didn't do it this time. Normally I would recommend bringing probably at least 3 to 4 Night Raiders, because they scare enemy as well, so it means that chain rout effect can be maintained longer. I didn't do that this time because I wanted to get the Chosen Archer Warband and put extra upgrades on the Chosen Axeman. I usually mingle it between the two. It just depends. Generally you'll see people who use Germania use the Night Raiders. I don't always do it. Sometimes I choose more hitting power over less routing power. As long as you've got the berserkers, you can usually still maintain the rout, in which case it worked perfectly fine here. But there's always a couple of ways of doing things. So anyway, this time I really will be going. Hope you enjoyed it guys. Please leave comments guys, I love reading comments. The feedback is really helpful. I mean, I don't like to ask a whole lot, but I just really like to hear the feedback. It's great to know what you think, what your opinion is, and so on and so forth, and what you'd like to see, and just whatever, leave comments guys. It's really really nice as a YouTuber to see that your work's being commented on, see what people think and say and stuff. So please leave comments. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon next time.